morning, this is Rany. Welcome to my garden. Today I'd like to do a video of my whole garden and show you how everything is laid out. So we'll start on the north side of the garden, which is mostly succulent and herb area, also my workspace, and highlight how everything is laid out. So let's start over here. We have quite a few different raised bed area in our garden. This one is kind of an evolving raised bed. So in the winter, I'll lay down some tulips. Then after the tulips gone, I'll spray some wildflower seeds. And I tuck in some herbs here and there. I just cleaned it out. So we still have, obviously, parsley goes a long way. So it's been here for 6 months now. I did try to grow some bitter melon here. If you can zoom in here. So I love bitter melons because I love Salaka Gold, which is my favorite, and this side is doing pretty well because it's getting less sun. I think this area is way too hot for bitter melons, so it's been kind of hard to get this to thrive, but it's looking okay. I really grow them for leaves, so we're hoping to get a good harvest. We have you'll see tea trees all over the garden because when they bloom, they're durable, but when they bloom, they're pretty striking. We have geraniums here and there because they're reliable bloomers, so we love that. I have succulents arrangement everywhere. So up here is the kind of the bench swing area, Kisa's corner, which is our cat. She loves it here. So I have a few topiaries all over. Here's some of the succulents arrangements I did, and over here we're doing kind of mauve purple colors. You'll see it in this planter. You see it behind the cherry blossoms there. The cherry blossoms is pinkish purple, so when it blooms, it's kind of brings tides in the color. This is a purple pea tea tree. All the blooms on that area will be purple pink. The blooms on this span will be more red. So let's go down here where we do more vegetable herb side. We don't really have that much space in terms of useful herbs and vegetable, but we got here is we'll start here with the herb arrangement. So we use a lot of Thai basil, red basil, or tikahom we call it, thyme, oregano, more thyme, garlic chive. I've had this plant for 15 years. It never dies. And we are in the desert, so that's a pretty great plant to have. I did grow some pumpkin. It's not our normal lapa where we eat, but it's a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin. There's one right there if you wanna highlight that. So we have rosemary. We have lime geranium here, which is one of the greatest plant we have. We thought it's just ugly and not useful, but I put them in cut arrangement. I have in water with cucumber because they're edible. They smell great. They deter mosquitoes as well. And then we have down here, hopefully you can, we're out of the sun here. We have some taro. This is our tomato vine, which is a little bit out of hand. I actually just harvest them. But if you're going to grow cherry tomato, I would recommend the sun sugar. They kind of mature orange here, and they're just really sweet. Intercropping is really important. We do, if you're growing tomatoes, a lot of pests that likes tomatoes really don't like the smell of basil. So if you grow some basil, interweave some basil in there, it will help deter them. And then down here, well, we have oregano here too, because I love oregano flowers. They smell so good, and we do harvest them. I'm trying to make some candles out of them. Here we have some kumquats. Looks like finally I have a little fruit here. And then this bed, we have all peppers. I just harvest them, so not a lot here, but it's doing pretty well, and it's giving us enough to use. So, and then we have so we have about 6 different peppers here. We have serranos, jalapenos, Thai chili, Mexican chili, and a few other varieties. Carolina Reapers, that's not producing yet. Now we've had this plant, the eggplant here, I just harvest maybe 25 so far out of one plant, and it's just really been producing great. And we have another eggplant which I just put in the ground last fall, and it almost died during the winter frost. Thought it was gone, and it just bounced back in like June, I believe. We saw like about 3 inches, and I'm hoping we have enough bees this year to pollinate them. So then we have over here, we have some snail vine flowers, 2 types of holy basil. This is a perennial, and this one comes back year after year. It's not the holy basil that Khmer uses often, but it's good enough, and it's hardy here. I have some honeydew melons, which is not fruiting yet. Maybe I planted them too late, not sure. Then we have another type of holy basil down here. This is an annual, so it will die during the winter, but hopefully we can freeze some. So we have about 4 bushes of lemongrass, which actually I need to cut some lemongrass for my mom today. So we need to trim that, but it's really healthy and doing well. And of course, my favorite plant is the kaffir lime. This is supposed to be a dwarf kaffir lime, and it's now 11 feet tall or so. And it's so I believe, you know, we really love intercropping. So over here I did, well, mistakenly put some fish mint under the kaffir lime, but they work together really well. Both are healthy. Of course, I had to like kind of put a barrier between the fish mint and all the other plant because they're pretty invasive. We have some green onions here that's ready to harvest. So that's basically the vegetable herb garden. And this is kind of my work area. I do a lot of succulent arrangements. So you'll see here all of my succulents. So I just harvest these beautiful succulent flowers. Generally I harvest them, put some lime geraniums, and put them in a vase inside the house. So snail vines, we have a few of these plants, and they are just, you know, it's edible. We put them in salads. I eat them with nompachok, eat them with the kruung. They're just so delicious and beautiful. And then we have some more raised bed here. This is kind of my catch-all storage area. But I think I'm trying to grow some more shady, viney plants up here, so that's in the works. And this succulents bed kind of had so much succulent that I decided to make a design which now is kind of falling apart and overgrown. So I kind of need to dig them out. But you'll see some echeveria here that I've had for 15 years or so. This one is flowering, so I need to snip off the flowers so the mom will thrive. Oh, did you get this, honey? So just to show you a little bit of what I do a lot of palettes. This one is an herb palette. We got herbs, succulent. So I need to incorporate colorful succulent as the herbs are greener. So, and then we have here, this is a bed I made maybe in the fall. It needs some trimming, but it's kind of shielding me from my sitting space from the neighbor, give me some privacy. So we have lantanas, we have some aeonium, some more geranium that is red to pop the color of the red from this and from the tea trees. We have foxtail ferns, some more succulents on the other side, and kind of weave the same theme on this side. So these are foxtail ferns. If you love to keep especially in the desert, it's hard to keep everything green. So this is evergreen. In the winter, it starts to have these little seeds and it turns red. So gives you a Christmassy theme. So on the bottom middle section of the garden is our living area or outdoor living area. So I have my little Buddha here. I can see it from the office. I can see it when I'm having coffee, but I highlight, surround Buddha with succulent arrangement here. We have palm seeds falling right now, but gives me a tranquility feeling. So we have another topiary here, more succulent, and then my seating area is where I have my coffee. So this is the other side of that raised bed. So we have more succulent. This grass was really pretty, but now it's sad. So I probably will put something else. Then I have my jade plant here, terracotta pots everywhere. This is terracotta from Italy, which I was gifted. Very happy about that. Have my coffee. This is an Ionium planter I made, and with strings of pearl. We do have some honeysuckle, Burmese honeysuckle, which I need to plant or pot soon. So along here we have hydrangeas. I have about 8 hydrangeas. All down here mostly are white. Upper tier is pink and purple. I think I overclipped the hydrangeas down here during the winter, so they didn't bloom this year. So I think these bloom on old wood, and overclipping them, I'll have to wait a year for that bloom. So I'm kind of bummed out about that, but it's still fairly healthy. It is a little scorched from the sun, because a few weeks ago we had, I think, 107. And so on this south side of the garden, we'll go up here first. You'll see a lot of geraniums here. They're not in full bloom, but they are reliable bloomers. So they kind of are messy, but when they bloom, they're spectacular. Over here in this round area is where we put most of our desert plants, succulent and different type of cactuses. I love these bunny ears. They're so cute. So we have some bunny ears. We have an Echeverry Afterglow there. This magnificent aloe is a variety. I do not know the names, but when it's a little stressed out, the leaves will be peach, pinkish, so it's really beautiful. So I do like to stress them out just to get that color pop. Then we have some flapjacks. So this little rocky area, we have just a few pots up there. I really feel we can do a lot more, but that's what we have going for now. And then over here we have a type of Citratunia, which I need to treat because aphids are attacking it. But when it's bloom, it's really glorious too. Have some palm. And this bed, I did a Zen garden. It's ever evolving, so I will take stuff out, recreate it, recreate this space. But the highlight is this sago palm. But I need to. I recently did this clock, succulent clock. Sometime I get carried away gardening, and so I need to see what time it is from time to time. So we have, you got all this part, honey? Okay. So recently, here's some other plants I collected. This is a desert rose. They're pretty neat. I need to repot them, but they are pretty exotic looking, I think, once they bloom. So we have some jasmine here, more, I think this is a Mandevilla Brazilian jasmine. And we have a few, I just recently got a few plumeria. This one is flowering. I don't have much success with plumeria, but that one's doing okay. So this is a pink tea tree. This is our glorious fig tree. It is Adriatic figs. It's about mid fruiting right now, so it's gonna start falling, and then the animals comes in and kind of clean it out. We've been pretty lucky in terms of using the figs pretty well. We have fig parties. We call it Figs Fest, where all our friends bring food and we eat and pick figs and have fun. We make fig jams when we can. I have a fig every morning for breakfast. I use the leaves for garnishment and you know, plating when I don't have banana leaves, and it gives you the green and pretty plating feel to your dish. So that's the fig tree. This is our pea plant shrub. This is blooming almost all year round. Sometimes it's more full of bloom, sometimes it's not, but it's healthy, it's durable, especially in this climate. It's more geranium. So you see the topiary, I'm trying to make shape them myself because topiaries are pretty expensive. So then we have the south side, kind of quieter part of the garden, not quiet, shadier part of the garden. I didn't think I could have camellias in the garden, but this one is really healthy, and I'm hoping it'll bloom next year because I think it blooms around March, so that'll give some color after the winter. Roses, I just deadhead a bunch, so they're kind of in between blooms. So I'm thinking it's gonna be, we'll pop up some videos through the garden of when everything looks at its fullest, or fullest. Oh, there's a lizard in there. Okay, so we have the passion fruit here. I just got this plant. Pot is probably a little small for it, but that's what I have at the time. You can only buy so many pots. Anyway, probably need to put in the ground, but it's doing fairly well, and I'm hoping it'll fruit next year. If I get a bigger pot. It is a little yellow in the middle here, but maybe it's lacking nitrogen, which we'll amend the soil for. So we'll pop up the picture of the roses here. So over here in the shadier side, we have our grapevines. A few grapevines here that's giving us a great shade for the fall, for the summer and fall. So we have climbing rose, which I need to tie back. And this is, look at a little scorch here, is our Brazilian jasmine, Mandevilla. Little lover's nook here. And then we have a lot of amaryllis. I bring them in during the winter when it's flowering. It's really beautiful. We collect a lot of cymbidium orchids, so this is going to be really gorgeous when they bloom. Early spring, I believe. Then we have, we just collected an epiphylium. I have about 4 varieties. Actually, no, someone just recently gave me 15 more. So I need to, they do well in hanging baskets, so I need to put them well. And the other night we had this amazing bloom of the Queen of the Night, and see, she bloomed one night and she's done. But when she does bloom, it is gorgeous. So and then we have behind me is our aquaponic system, fairy garden, which is a little bit in disarray, so we won't cover that. But you can see a little bit of the fairy garden here to start. So there's little fairy things tucked here and there. So I think that's all we have for you today. Thank you for joining me. Hope this has inspired you a little bit, and I'll see you in the next video.